All right, so this is going to be the solution to your exercise 22. So it says that you work for Tawara International Airport and you will analyze data about bus journeys taken each morning during 1 week. Dates are to be displayed in this particular format. Unless specified otherwise, all times are to be displayed in this particular format set to GMT. Unless specified otherwise, do not edit, delete, or sort any data in the source file. You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. All work must be of a professional standard and suit the business context. Required to provide the evidence. So place your name, center number, candidate number, header in the header of your evidence document. After that, you need to open the spreadsheet. Place these files as a separate worksheets within your workbook. Ensure these worksheets are called these. So we'll open up Excel and we click on the blank workbook. After that, we are to import all these four and name them as these worksheets. So we'll start off with M18 bus. Select all cells, copy your data, bring it to your blank workbook and paste it. Best fit your data and name this sheet as bus. Okay. So similarly, you are to do this for all the files. So destination, we copy it, add a new worksheet, paste your data, and rename this to dest. So right click, rename, this is going to be test. Then we have the third file is M18 driver. Select all data, copy it, bring it to your worksheet, add a new worksheet and then paste it. Best fit, rename this to driver. Last is M18 seats. Copy data, bring it to your new workbook, add a new sheet, paste your data here and name this as seats. Done. So we don't need these workbooks, so you may close them. All right, so we're left with just one. Now, analyze the contents of the worksheet named test, which is this one. Identify any errors and describe these in your evidence document. Add an evaluation of the potential impact of these errors, description of the errors, and your evaluation of the impact. So that is to be put in your evidence document. No word length is basically specified. So you just have to describe all the errors that you identify. Hanji. So over here, I get to see that this T is not capital and this terminal C needs to be terminal C. What else? Rest is fine. Sequence. Okay. Terminal West. No, West Terminal. West Terminal. I don't think so. There are any further errors. The 1T was basically because of the consistency. So your evaluation should say that all the destinations have a capital letter to start off with. And this one was with a small t, so consistency error. And over here, they were sharing the same terminal name, so that might create an error as well. Otherwise, it looks fine. You may add the capital letter for the second word for the destination as well to have the camel format, but this is probably not an error. Those were the two errors that were identified. Correct the errors. So we have done this. Save the spreadsheet as Q1 followed by your center number, then candidate number, for example, this. So we are to save this at this point as Q1. We're going to select our location, which is going to be the same folder. The name is Q1 underscore your center number underscore your candidate number. Save as type is Excel workbook. Moving on. In the worksheet bus, insert a new row between 1 and 2. So bus, insert a new row between 1 and 2. So we are going to insert. Then enter the text destination into A2, mean delay into B2. Destination, let me zoom in. So destination and mean delay. Press fit again. Next is make only the contents of rows 1, 2, 12, 13, center line and bold. So contents of 1, 2, 12 and 13, 12 and 13. Center line, horizontal center, vertical center and bold. Next is for each journey use a formula in date column. Date column is this. So to extract the date from the bus code column, from here we are to extract the date. For example, if the first 6 digits are 140118, the date would be 14 Jan 2018. Okay, so not only we have to extract these first 6 digits, but we also have to display them as this format. And you are to use the formulas, not the format. So equals to date, bracket open. The first 2 digits are basically the date and year, which is 18, 5th and 6th. So I will apply mid of this. Starting is 5th, we take 2 characters, comma, then the month. Month is going to be again mid of this. Starting number is 3, we get 2 characters out. And last of all, it is left of this and we take out 2 characters. Okay, so after this we are going to apply the format formula for this text. Format is double D space 4 M's and 4 Y's. So this was the error that you were facing, that it displays 1918. Why? Because there were only 2 digits given for the year and the first 2 digits were not given. So Excel automatically added this from its production date, which is why we need to correct the year and we add just 100 to it to fix it. Okay, so we replicate this. Destination column to extract the name of the destination using the single letter embedded in the bus code column. Okay, so bus code column has probably this letter, which is referring to the destination, right? So we can use VLOOKUP. Over here, we got to apply equals to VLOOKUP. Now, the number of characters. Are they going to have the same number of characters? So we can very quickly check inserting a column and we apply length onto the bus code. It gives us 14. We replicate this. So all the entries, the number of bus code characters are the same, I think. Okay. So that means the character for the destination is also at the same position for all the bus codes. So we can delete this column. And now we are to extract this. Hanji. We apply mid and how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11th character. Is it the 11th character? Yeah. So we can extract the destination like this. Are we to display the destination name? So this is going to be acting as our lookup value. VLOOKUP. This will become our lookup value. comma. The table array is basically this. We're going to make it absolute because it is the same workbook. So the range is not going to be absolute. Comma 2 for the column index number, comma 0 for exact match. Hanji. Whenever we take data from an external file, Excel automatically absolutes the range. When it is taken from the same workbook, it will not be absolute. It's how Excel operates. So it considers ke aapne, relatively aapne sab pe apply karna hai. So you need to define it. If it is the same workbook, different worksheet does not matter. Workbook agar ek hi hai, to uske andar you need to make it absolute. ठीक है? अगर external file होती, if I use the same formula and use the external file which is given, तो फिर मुझे एब्सोल्यूट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, फिर वो ऑटोमेटिकली एब्सोल्यूट हो जाता है. अच्छा जी, उसके बाद late column to calculate the number of minutes late the bus was late. If the bus was early, this should return 00:00. So late, sometimes the bus is late, sometimes it's arriving early. So equals to if the arrival time is greater than the due time, then arrival time minus the due time. That will give us the difference between both the times. Okay? And if it is not, then display 0. Done. Press enter. Now this format, you go to format cells, you select time. Why is it displayed 0? Because the arrival time is 8:58. However, the due time was 9. So it is 2 minutes early, which is why it's displayed as 0. But it should not be 0. It should be 00:00. So we select time and then we come down to custom. We're going to type our own time. HH:MM. Right? We don't need to display the seconds. So this is fine. And then we can replicate. Okay, we got the time. Next is minutes column to calculate the minutes the bus was late as an integer value. Now, if I just scrub through or scroll through all my records, I can see that the maximum the bus is basically late is in minutes, not in hours, right? So if I just extract the minutes like this, equals to minute and this. So this is fine, right? However, this does not work in all situations. What if the time is 9 or maybe 10? Let's have a difference of more than an hour. Let's say this. So this is not 58 minutes late, right? It's 1 hour 58 minutes late. So we need to consider the hours in a function as well. Even though the data does not have any difference of hours, but we need to consider it because you never know. The situation might occur. So हम इसको वापस कर देते हैं. And minutes. So what we do is we take out the hour from this and we multiply it with 60 to make it minutes, and then we add this up. Okay, the minutes. So this needs to be put into a whole bracket so that the hours are extracted and multiplied by 60, and then the minutes are added. So this is basically your minutes. This needs to be displayed as an integer. So we go to format cell and number, decimal place it to 0, click on OK. Replicate. Okay. Last of all, passengers column to extract the 9th character of the bus code and look up the maximum number of seats on the bus for this journey. So first of all, we have to extract the 9th character, so bit of the, I think the code. Yeah. And we take out the 9th character, which is 1. Seats. Okay. So this is basically taking out what? Column to extract the 9th character of the bus code and look up the maximum number of seats on the bus for this journey. So seats are basically this. So whatever the number is extracted, these are the corresponding seats that needs to be displayed. What we do is that we are going to take this as our lookup value. But before that, this is displayed as 1 as text. Okay? So we need to convert this into a number, into 1. And then we're going to use this as our lookup value. So we look up, bracket open, lookup values given, table array, comma. Again, the same workbook, absolute, comma 2, comma 0. So we get the number for passengers. Clear on this? Okay. Next, in the mean delay column, use functions to calculate the average delay to each destination. Ensure that any errors are trapped and not displayed. Display the mean delay in hours, minutes, and seconds format. That is it. Okay. So we are to display the mean delay for all the destinations. Mean delay का क्या मतलब हुआ? Okay, so for instance, if I just need to add them up, okay, so I would do what? Sum if. Bracket open, we define the range. So we have the range in the destination column. Select the whole range. We make it absolute. Then, comma, the criteria is basically this, comma. Now, delays. Where are the delays? Minutes or the late? Minutes. Why minutes? Huh? If we have two pieces of data in the time format, two pieces of data in the time format, we add them up, तो हमें क्या मिलता है? टाइम ऐड हो जाता है. फॉर्मेट कौन सा होता है? ठीक है. So look at the solution requirement. You are to display it in this form. So if we add the integers, we will have to format it again. Even though हमारा time भी जो late का है, that is not displaying the seconds, we still have to format. But it makes more sense to have this into consideration rather than minutes. ठीक है. So this will be our sum range. वैसे आप वो करके भी format कर सकते हैं. I'm just trying to it's quite a lot. 900. You counted all of them. Okay. So this is going to be absolute as well. And then we are going to format this. Into the time format, we click on custom, define our time, double H, colon, double S, colon, double S. This is just the addition of the late minutes for this, right? And we need to divide it by the number of occurrences, right? So if I divide this by count if, okay, range, again, the destination. No, I've got a better solution. This is the same range, right? So we'll take the same range, right? And we take out this. So mean delay. Is it correct? आगे चलो जी. Create and fully label a chart to compare the average delays to each destination for the whole week. So what we do is we can select both these columns. We go to insert and we straight away add the bar chart. Okay, and then we can label it. The title, okay, the title, the axis titles, and the labels, the values. So Chart title, I would say average delays, okay, average delays, and then we need to add element, axis title horizontal, axis title vertical. Okay, so this is going to be destinations. Okay, so this is color coded. What if I want to label them? Let me fix this. I'll just select the time, click on insert, add the bar chart like this. Over here, I need the destination names. So right click on select data. Wherever you get to see the numbers, edit. This is going to be my name range. Click on OK. And then series 1, we don't have to do anything. We just click on OK. After that, we're going to add the values, or we can have the data labels on the outside end. So that displays the average delays. Again, chart title, average delays. Now axis horizontal, axis vertical. This is basically displaying destinations, and this is displayed as mean delay. Yeah, mean delay. I was thinking of time, so but mean delay makes more sense. And you can also say that average mean delays each destination. So that's your chart, fully labeled. Do we get this? Okay. Next up, it says create a pivot table to show for each destination the total number of minutes late on each day. This must be displayed the totals for each day, but not the total for each destinations. Grid lines must be visible. Create a report for the manager for the airport, which includes your pivot table and your chart. Which chart are they talking about? This chart. Okay. And the pivot table that you are to create. Your report must fit on a single page portrait. Include your include in the footer your name, center number, candidate number. Right. So this carries 11 marks. What's a pivot table? You've done Axis, no? Haven't you solved the scenario of pivot table? Ever heard of it? Ever heard crosstab? You know, it's a part of your syllabus in O levels. If you didn't do it, that's great. अच्छा, पहली बात, मैथ किस किस के पास है? What about O levels? Frequency कभी पढ़ी? Yeah. So you remember the histogram or the frequency table? The pivot table is just like that. In Excel, it's called the pivot table. In Access, it is called the crosstab. Okay, verbiage is different, but process is also different. But the term they use for Excel is pivot table, and for Access it is crosstab. So this is the chart that we are going to place, and then we need to create the pivot table. They said table or chart? Pivot table. Okay. In order to create the pivot table, this is based on what? For each destination, total number of minutes late on each day. Okay. So it's not basically referring to this particular data. It is basically referring to this data because we are to consider the days and we are to consider the late number of minutes. Okay. Acha. This must display the total for each day, but not the total for each destination. Grid lines must be visible. In order to create the pivot table, first of all, identify the data जिसके ऊपर आपने pivot table बनाना है. ठीक है? आप क्या करोगे? You have to select the whole data, which is to be considered for your pivot table. select. That selection also includes the headings. ठीक? So after selecting this, you are going to do what? Where's my magnifier? You will see in a moment. So you select data, you go to insert, and over here you'll get to see pivot chart. ठीक? When you click on it, it says the first requirement is select a table or a range. So we have already done it. We are to consider that pivot table based on this range. Fine. You can also use an external data source. We're not using an external data source. We're taking the data from this sheet. Okay. Choose where you want to create the pivot chart to be placed. You have the option for a new worksheet. You have the option of the existing worksheet. If I choose this particular position option, I need to choose where my pivot table is going to be displayed. Huh? Yeah, the cell, right? So for instance, if I want the pivot table to be created from this point, so I will just select a particular cell. Or I can also choose this option, which is going to be a new worksheet. This is going to add a new worksheet into my workbook. And then later on, I can rename it to pivot table or pivot chart or whatever. Okay? So there are two terms associated with pivot table. Sorry, किस तरह? अभी आता है वो. So just by clicking the pivot chart, you get to have this option in which you need to specify the data that you are going to consider and then where you want to place your pivot table or chart. So I will select new worksheet for now. ठीक है? And we click on OK. New worksheet बनती है हमारे पास दो चीजें आती हैं. तो गौर से देखें. This is the pivot table. This is the pivot chart. ठीक है? So be careful what they ask for. They might ask for pivot chart as well. They might ask for pivot table. They are made the same way. Automatically दोनों चीजें अपडेट होगी. ठीक है? होंगी कैसे? Once you click on it, once you click on OK, not only that you get to see the area where it's going to be placed, but also on the right hand side, you got to have the pivot chart fields. So you have the option, since you selected all data, you have the option to select which fields do you want for your pivot chart to include. You are referring to hide data, you don't have to hide data. You just have to select the fields that you want. ठीक है? अब जरा मुझे बताएं, what do you think? Which fields do you think I need to add? We need destination. Okay, fine. Then minutes, late or minutes? Late. Okay. Why late? Total number of minutes late on each day. Okay. But we also have the minutes information in the minutes column. That's an integer value. It's easier to add, easier to present as well. We just have to show the number of minutes late. Sure, the time format is not specified. True or not? Yep. Achha, once you select this, what else do we need? Each day, yes. So we need date as well. ठीक है? अभी मैंने सिर्फ select किया. And it automatically tries to consolidate the whole data on its own. ठीक है? अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो, इसको जरा इंटरप्रेट करो. This is the first destination, all days separately defined, and the number of minutes late as well. This is basically what total number of minutes late for this particular destination, which is not to be shown. Yeah, they said do not add the total, but not the totals for each destination. So that is not required. Acha ji. Or it can be changed. So once you select the fields that you want, over here you've got some options. You can choose which axis you want the data to be. ठीक है? अभी यहाँ पे क्या है? Access categories में destination भी है, date भी है. So that means it is basically displayed in one column. ठीक है? ये club करता जाएगा सारे को. What about this section, legend series? So if I just pick my date and move it in the legend series, what happens? My dates are basically displayed in columns and my destination are displayed in rows. Do we get this? ठीक? My chart is getting built up automatically as well as I'm making changes to my settings. Acha, you can interchange them if you want. The examiner might say that, okay, the destinations are to be displayed in columns. So destination needs to be a part of the legend and the dates are to be a part of the axis. So x axis पे आपकी यहाँ पे dates आ जाएंगी और यहाँ पे आपकी destination आ. Do we get this? ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे देखो number of minutes late आ रहे हैं each day, each destination. What do we don't know? Don't want the grand total over here and the grand total over here. We don't need this. Acha. What else? It is automatically adding the row or the column basically totals. So first of all, the chart is not required. So I'm going to just select the chart, remove it. ठीक हो गया. Now, what about this? This is basically automatically generated by Excel. थोड़ा सा जरा विजुलाइज करने की कोशिश करें. उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है? That we are to place this information along with the chart that we made on a separate sheet, or let's say paper, or the document that needs to be printed, or let's say in order to be exported to PDF. They don't want evidence of this for now. अगर एविडेंस मांगेगा तो आप इसका स्क्रीनशॉट दे दोगे, ठीक है. बट इंफॉर्मेशन हमें थोड़ी सी कस्टमाइज करनी. इंफॉर्मेशन में हमारे पास जो ग्रैंड टोटल्स आ रहे हैं वो तो नहीं एग्जिस्ट करते, वो हमें चाहिए नहीं है. सो इफ आई जस्ट सेलेक्ट दिस and home and then delete it. So it says we can't make this change. Let me read this out for you. It says that we cannot make this change for the selected cell because it will affect the pivot table. Use the field list to change the report. If you're trying to insert or delete cells, move the pivot table and try again. So basically the database gets linked when you create the pivot table. So what do? We will select this whole table in order to edit. Copy the information, come at a different position, paste these as values. Okay? Now the data is not linked. It is just being copied pasted. If you want the same similar format, very simple. You select this whole thing, format painter, right? Select the data, click on format painter, and then you can define the same format onto this data. Done. Now this information is not needed. This information is not needed, right? You can also make changes to your labels if you want. This is basically what displayed as dates. Dates. This is not needed. This is the data that we want. Okay. I can even if I remove this now, the information will stay. ठीक है. So उसका उतना ही रोल था. हमने create कर लिया. We did the automation and we can delete this. And it says grid line should be displayed. That means in Excel, grid lines are referred to as borders. So you select your data. In your home tab, you have the borders. So drop it down, select all borders. Okay. And then you can also specify, you make it more professional by selecting this particular data and making it center line. Have the headings center line as well. So that is the information. Can you place both of these in a separate document and print it as a PDF? Doable? Yeah. So let's say this is a Word document, blank document, and then we come here, we select this all data, copy it, paste it here. This is what we call integration of data of the applications. Let's say Uh, this is fine. And then what about the chart? Come to your bus. This is my chart. I'll just copy it and then come to my Word document and we'll paste it here. Give a title, add your header and footer information, print this as PDF. Okay? So this is how you create the pivot chart. Select the whole data including the headings, then later on do the settings. Okay? What else? Export this to a portable document format. We've done it. Hanji, have you done this? The report? Anyone? So your manager wants a report on the drivers who have the fewest delays journeys per week. Insert in the bus worksheet the driver ID and the full name of the driver. The driver ID for each journey is stored as the 12th and the 13th digits in the bus code. The names of the drivers can be found in the driver worksheet. Okay, so we come back to our sheet. So let's put this away for some time. Okay, so over here, I'm going to add the driver ID. That is basically what? 12th and the 13th digits in the bus code. So equals to mid of this text. We take the 12th character and the 13th character, which is 2 characters. So we take out that. Driver ID taken out, we can replicate. The driver names are given over here. You can see the driver ID is also in the number format. So we are going to multiply this by 1 first, convert this into a number, and then we are to find the driver name. Uh, if I don't consider this to be a number, you say? Okay. Okay, so we apply VLOOKUP now, bracket open. We define this as the lookup value, comma. Then we come down to the driver. We select, what do we have to display? The driver name. So the driver name should be, can be found, so it should be displayed in one cell, I think. So the complete name. That is basically what? 8 minutes. Okay, I'm just referring to this particular order and referring to the example given. So it's actually the forename first and the surname later on. ठीक है? So हम क्या करेंगे इसको? Yeah. So the table array in the driver, we are going to select this all. Same worksheet, so make it absolute, comma 3, comma 0. Not applicable. This is in the text, that is in the number format. Okay, so into 1 we'll fix it, right? Replicate and replicate. After this we need to add and speech marks space speech marks and then the same function. Copy it and paste it. The column number is 4. So we get to have the full driver name in this column. Yeah, Peter Perfection. Actually, copy a list of the driver IDs and names into a new sheet called report. For each driver, calculate the number of journeys that were on time or early. Create a report listing all drivers who have more than one journey on time or early. Report will be saved in the rich text format. Ascending order of the number of the journeys, text must be out like this. So we are supposed to make this on a separate sheet. Let's see if that is possible. Okay. So cut paste and again I will have to move this to the top of the sheet. Why? We have done the hard work. Why should we delete it? So the function is still retained now. Cut paste किया है मैंने, ठीक है? So it's not a part of this sheet anymore. It's on a new sheet. This will be named as report. अच्छा जी. What do you think I need to do? Huh? Sure. You are to display, देखो, copy the list of the driver IDs and names into a new worksheet called report. For each driver, calculate the number of journey that were on time or early. So first of all, we are to remove the duplicates for each driver, he said. Yeah. So we select the whole data. We go to conditional, no, not conditional formatting. क्या हो गया? We go to data. No, just click on data. And over here, they have the option of remove duplicates. So we click on it. It says my data has headers, driver ID, driver name. So ignore the first row. It has the headers, right? Ignore this, but the rest of the data, take out the duplicates. So you just click on OK. And then you have only 21 unique values remaining. By the way, we could only take this list from the driver worksheet as well and create it. Although it's the same thing, but yeah. अब क्या करना है हमने? These are the drivers. For each driver, calculate the number of journey that were on time or early. इसको अभी break down करते हैं. What if I want to find out the number of journeys made by this particular driver? How do I do it? Okay. So let's say हम यहाँ पे निकालते हैं number of journeys. ठीक है? Count if you said. This is the report. So number of journeys equals to count if you said. हाँ जी. What do I do? हाँ ये लो. किसको रेफर करोगे as your ID तो मैं उधर ले गया. Bus code will be the journey. Sorry, the range. All right.
बस कोड के within file. Yeah, just like पहले निकाला. Bus code inside the bus ID.
Bus code उसके अंदर driver ID है, right?
Yeah.
So that should be the range or that should be the criteria.
That should be the
That should be the range. All right.
criteria उसको खोलते हैं. दूसरी sheet में है criteria. नहीं?
अच्छा.
Yes.
मुझे एक बात बताओ. Can I compare these two with the 12th and the 3rd character, 13th character?
This is
How to apply it?
if क्या कहते हैं mid books का
आप सिंपल आप ये भी तो कर सकते हो ना कि simply apply the same function which was made, right? Onto this text, we take out what? The 12th character and the 13th character. So we take out two characters, right? And into one. So that gives us the driver ID. अब हमारे लिए बहुत आसान है number of journeys निकालना. Equals to count if bracket open, we specify this as our range. And we make it absolute, comma, the criteria. Criteria is this one. So number of journeys are these. ठीक. उसने क्या बताया? That were on time or early. अब क्या करूं? हाँ, count ifs. Very nice. Okay, so on top of it I want to apply count ifs. It says criteria 1, criteria range 1, and the criteria 1. So this is my criteria range 1 and criteria 1. Okay, I've taken all the drivers, comma. Criteria range 2, in the bus I've got the late column. Number of minutes late. Select all of it. Okay, this is going to be, sorry, bus. We're going to make it absolute. Come down to the, this is not report, this is bus. Okay, so we put comma and then we need to put in the criteria. Criteria is what? On time or early के लिए क्या होगा? 0. So yeah, so there are 31 journeys made by this particular person which were on time or early. Count ifs. आगे देखो. Create a report listing of all drivers who had more than one who had more than one journey on time or early. So we are to consider only those, yeah, except for the ones which are basically 0. Okay, how can I do it? I'll just apply the same format onto this. Why if? Apply the filter. Number of journeys. Number filter greater than what? 0. More than one or more? One journey, no. Ascending or so. Create a report listing who had more than one journey on time or early. Okay. More than one. Had more than one. Okay. उसमें भी यही रिजल्ट्स रहेंगे वैसे बाय द वे. हाँ जी, ग्रेटर देन 1 कर ले. 1 वाला ही कोई नहीं है. So create a report listing for all drivers who made one journey on time or early. The report will be saved in rich text format, must be saved in ascending order of the number of journeys. Ascending order of number of journeys. So we select this, or we can just do this, smallest to largest. This is our data. I'll just copy it. Again, needs to be pasted in what? Rich text format. So that means this needs to be in your Word document. Ascending order of the number of journeys, it must be set out like this. Number shown example not correct at the end of the report. The name of the best week driver is this. Okay. So what can we do? We'll just open up our Word document, create a blank document, and paste our data. This is the one. और क्या करना है आपने? ड्राइवर आईडी नहीं है? अच्छा, तो निकाल दो. So we take this, copy it. एक और काम करते हैं. Let's paste these as values. And I do not need this. Number of journeys. Sort उसने कहा, क्या कहा है? Ascending of number of journeys, right? So इसको आप select कर लो, click on filter, and this is going to be smallest to largest. अच्छा, also you are to display one more thing. The name of this week's best driver is followed by the driver the most journey that arrived on time or early. Maximum. With the most journey that arrived on time or early, right? So that's the max. These are two drivers. So both of these names are going to be listed at the end of the report. Just copy paste this in your Word document, create the header or the title like this, your title with your candidate details on the top, number of journeys, your driver, and list this at the end, followed by your center number, candidate number, and print it as PDF. The following was entered in the spreadsheet. If F4 ran between 1 to 10 greater than 60, win or lose. John said this was a formula and Stuart said it was a function. Explain using examples from the above. Who is correct? Who is correct? Stuart is correct, right? So built-in function है कि ये कैसे function है? Sorry. Yeah, this is a function and Stuart is correct. This is not a formula. No arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators आते हैं तो फिर आपके पास फॉर्मूला बनता है, अदरवाइज इट्स फंक्शन. बिल्ट इन फंक्शंस को यूज किया हुआ है. इफ को भी आप उसमें एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं, रैंड बिटवीन को भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, हाँ, दैट्स इट. देयर आर टू फंक्शंस व्हिच आर used. Save your evidence document. This is the end of your exercise 22. If you calculate the numbers, the marks, 6, 10, 45, 59, 64, 75, 76, 4, and 104. Yeah. So this is actually a complete paper. Only 6 marks have been left out. The total used to be 110. Now it's 90. Anyways, solution to your exercise 22.